Here we go, put together another one. So this time, got a little bit more specialized setup on here. This is gonna be dedicated to tendering to a sprayer. Picked up a 2007 Manic step deck. It's been blasted, painted. Used to be blue, has a few battle scars. Front here is all chewed up, so pulled that back together. Fix that up. As far as what's on the trailer, we're reusing a 2,650 gallon tank, and this one was previously mounted to a trailer. So step one was to build this skid that was underneath here. Similar to the skid I built on the last tender, used the same print, same measurements and everything. Just held down with 4 bolts per side. These are 5/8 bolts, and then through the stake pockets they get held on with all 1/2 inch thick steel, grade 8 3/4 inch hardware. So all 4 corners are held down that way. A lot of meat on there. This one we do have a Hudson valve in the lid, which just goes through a pipe nipple, and then right here we have cam lock fittings to go do a water fill. I do have room up front here for 4 chemical shuttles, and then those are all plumbed in to go back to the cone. So to hold them down, I do have E-track. I'll pull them out of the bag here in just a minute. So these are mounted through the stake pocket with the bolt on the bottom. The E-track clicks right in. Unfortunately on this trailer, the 2 inches is between the rub rail and the sides, so I wasn't able to drop in a 3x2 square tube through the stake pocket, so I had to modify them and just add a piece of flat steel. So I did that in a few places. Kick it off on the front here. Just got done with this yesterday. Just did a aluminum fold down step. So these ones I did all the cutting and bedding right here in-house. Come up with my own dimple dies and iron worker. That's where we got some grip on there. Next up, we got the cone. We did buy this cone put together on the plumbing side of things. So all this plumbing is already put together. I did build a skid for it. Skid has stake pocket holes in it, and then also drops through the stake pocket. And on the bottom, 3/4 inch wrench takes out the 1/2 inch bolt, locks it all down. Nice and clean, no extra straps. So the way this works, we're fed from the pressure side of the pump through here. There's a venturi. The venturi creates a suction that will pull the cone and the product through the check valve into the stream, and then from there it'll go out the reel to fill the sprayer. So it's a nice setup. You never have any chemical products in the pump. It's always on the pressure side, so it cuts down potential for cross-contamination and not getting stuff cleaned out well enough. So the way the product will be fed from the chemical totes, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So those are all labeled. Those each have their own draw tube. Comes up in here. Those just couple right onto the bottom 2-inch cam lock. There's some new fittings this year, one piece, really nice clean fittings. So when these are opened, you'll be metering one product at a time through a gear type flow meter. Those are the most accurate. And then once you're done with each product, or just at the end, it's up to the operator what they're putting down. This one opens, sends clean water through, and it'll flush all this out to where it's clean. This valve here is going to be the fast fill. So once that's opened, it goes full 3-inch, then we'll bypass the venturi. Next up, there's these 3 valves. We have a stabber with a rinse on it to clean out them jugs. This one is your agitation, and this one's just a clean water tap. So being this is all fed from the pressure side without pulling anything chemical in, when you're pumping water through this pump, you get clean water without any chemical in it right there. So I can go to the top here now. Here's that rinse stabber, ports on it, pop it in, stab it in the jug, clean it out. nice and easy. On top, I did add a little handle here, so you can just stand up, no bending over, and then so this is also be able, I can just reach through, run it from the ground. Jugs get loaded in here. This one's just pretty simple. Has a rinse in it. These can be upgraded. You can add the jug knife in there too, but those kind of get a little messy. So the plan for this setup, so that'll be all taken up with totes. Right here is for empty jugs. And then down here is room for 1-2 pallets of jugs. So jugs can be thrown in, added in here, and once we're done, pop them right in here. So on this, I do have a prop and a lid here, so set that right there. So if I can get it just right, there we go. We got it in. So get you a better angle here. So there's the working area on the trailer. Another thing I do have on here is these latches, so I'll open those. This is to get the jugs out when we're done. So this does have stake pockets on, or it does have stake holes, or fork holes on the back, sorry. And that'll be lifted off the telehandler, just one pin to pull that tube out. Once it's on the telehandler, open these latches, and then that lets this whole bottom swing out. So you're able just to dump the jugs right out. So the less times we can handle them, the better. And these are just kind of something I came up with here. Just the weight of the handle is enough to keep it open or closed. This half moon on here closes, keeps it in there. And there's the prop comes right down. So a little catch right here. Pretty simple. So then we'll go back down. This is second skid. This one's almost identical to the last tender trailer. Same footprint, same layout of the valves. You can see that on my other video. We did go with another FS reel, so it has a switch here as well as a wireless remote. These do have a handle tucked in the back here. That'll go on here. If you do lose power, you can wind it back up. As far as layout here goes, this is the one where we fill. This will be filling front tank, back tank. So this is the manifold going forward. We have pump isolation valve here. We can close this. When that's closed, that's going to the inlet right on the back side of this pump. So on that, we have another way we can have a suction right directly to the pump. So the situation where you could use that, if you have a tank on the ground, pump goes down or it doesn't have a pump, you can couple on here and then run your reel right back into your own trailer, and that'll actually fill your own tanks. So it gives us some flexibility there to where we're never really shut down. And this is all skid mounted, interchangeable, so if something does happen, pop this off, move it to a different trailer, or this one, trying to use this one, this pump goes down, go grab the other skid, we can just keep going. And something else we wanted, just to make sure, we do have a couple higher rates that we're going to be putting down. So we just want to make sure we have enough time. So since we're unsure if this Venturi will keep up, so we're talking 30 gallons of two products, we have 60 gallons total. It's going to be a lot to draw through a Venturi in that amount of time. So I did add, off the end of this T, I did add a valve with a 2-inch cam lock. The handle is tucked in there a ways. So I did come up with this extension on the handle where it's just easy to grab, open and close. A 2-inch cam lock there. This hose runs all the way back, and that'll couple right into that first shuttle. And that can always be teed off and add to more than one, depending on what type of work we're doing, what kind of products we're running. This one too, make sure that I can reach it from the ground, add an extension on there. These are pretty easy to do. I just do a little zigzag on the end, just 1/4 inch rod, piece of 5/8 rod on the end, hole, drill it out, weld the end of that rod in there, and it worked pretty good. So I've got one there, and then that's the same one, same type of thing right here where I can reach through, run the cone. Overall, this trailer is pretty locked down to where there's not much that you can't do from the ground. So the only thing that we're going up on the trailer to do is load jugs into the cone. A lot of times we are just running the induction cone on the sprayer. So that means there's gonna be a lot of the time where 100% of the loading is done right from the ground. So that makes it pretty handy. Operators are not getting any younger, so the less steps in the day, the better. This tank back here did come with a skid. They tried sending us with this first. They just had an angle iron, little hole there, 1/2-inch bolts. So I decided to upgrade them a little bit. So on these, I just do the same thing. Add a foot, add a gusset, come right on through. 1/2-inch plate on the bottom, 3/4-inch grade 8 hardware. These Manics are just, must be a little bit oddball. The spacing isn't always standard spacing on the stake pockets, so I did have to come over with 1/2-inch, bump it over, grab a new bolt there. But overall, pretty okay trailer. Seen some miles, but been repainted, like I said, and see how this one does. Grease type hubs, air ride. So it should be a nice upgrade over what we had before. This is coming from just a 48-foot flatbed. I think it was getting some age on it and getting pretty bad. All these fittings I've done, they all run manifold type fittings. So that means they have the V-clamp with the gasket in there. So that means anywhere in the future, need to modify, need to fix something, just take it apart. No spinning threads, you just take it right out. And these are all 1-inch too, so I mean, it's all 3-inch and 1-inch. It's pretty standard stuff, common stuff, but real clean. And then as far as this basket goes, when we're wanting to dump, the forks go in, and then once we're in with the forks on telehandler, this will drop in, and then this will actually lock it down so we can tip the basket and get all them jugs out. And these I did find some just ready panels, or just a hog panel. Use a 1x2 square tube here, stainless steel floor, keep the rust down. A lot of work on this setup. This whole trailer can be torn down, so that there's actually nothing that is permanently mounted to the trailer. The only thing that's permanently mounted is going to be these E-tracks. I can show you guys them just here in a second. And on the other side, I did add power and air just like I did on that last tender. Give you guys a little peek at that again. So I've got 12 volts available right here, and then over here I have air. So there's just tapped in, nice little faceplate, run everything through. So that means I'm not running any batteries, and then do have air purge. Just be able to purge the lines, stainless steel check valve to make sure we don't get any chemical coming back if that valve is left open for some reason. So that just purges all the way through the reel. It'll empty out the reel. The reel will pull in full, but sometimes you like to make sure everything's empty. Helps with that. On the 12 volt, I come back here, loop it through the stakes, come up, 12 volts right here on the starter, and then I got another wire that runs our electric on our reel. And over here, got a new planter we're setting up. All the tracks on it this time. A little bit of an upgrade going to a 90-foot over the 60-foot. All right, so here's those E-tracks I was telling you about. So each of them These lock in that rectangle hole. Be nice, they'll be nice and flush to the floor. Out of the way in case we need it for something else. So like I said, this whole trailer is able to be torn down. Everything's got stake, just through stake pockets, all skid mounted. For these Enduraplast tanks, they don't really give you a decent option to get stakes or forks through them. So I came up with this this plate here. Goes right on the forks, slides right in between, and then these pins pop out each side. And that's how I'm able to lift off Enduraplast tanks. So when I'm lifting, that bracket will go right through the middle here, and then those pins shoot out each side, and then I'm able to lift it right off with the forklift. It's proven to be pretty handy. Did end up using that other step deck a few different times. So it's just nice to have some flexibility around the farm and not needing so many trailers or things dedicated to one task. So, yeah, that's what I got for you guys. So I think this is pretty much as good as it's going to get around here as far as spray tendering goes. If you guys like it, leave a comment.